On this Warhammer 40K competitive battle summary, we have the Aeldari in the house tonight against the Necron Awakened Dynasty. So if you're wondering how these two armies match up against each other, you're going to want to stick around because we're essentially condensing this 3-hour game into about 25 minutes, giving you what worked, what didn't work, what we learned. So even if you're not a Necron player, I still think you're going to get a lot of value out of this video today, mainly because we're going to be talking about more macro perspectives, things that worked, didn't work, like I just mentioned. So if that's something that interests you, stick around. Without further ado, let's get into it. So there's a couple things I got to preface here. We are playing Purge the Foe, which is hold one, hold more, kill one, kill more. This is the Pariah mission deck, so we're not actually playing the new rules quite yet. And this is on Tipping Point deployment, layout 1 GW, because I'm in the US, so we play a lot of GW. And playing against my boy Max, who is on our team. Great gent. He actually flew up from California for the weekend to hang out with some team members, and we're hanging around, drinking, having a good time. And yeah, so bear that in mind with this game, that there was alcohol involved with some of the decision making. So with that said, let's do this. So I will say, so before I flip over to the score, thinking about this matchup, Purge the Foe is not good really for either of us because we're both kind of an MSU style army. The one thing that kind of gives me the leg up is Necrons, I think just in general, play really well into Aeldari for the most part, mainly because a lot of our profiles are really strong in them. We have a lot of strength 6 in our data sheets, so a lot of our things are wounding on 2s, hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s, and especially in Purge the Foe, a lot of times Aeldari doesn't really like having to commit multiple resources into killing one of my units because it's so durable. So it does create a kind of a trading resources problem because I have the luxury of just kind of putting one thing out where they have to overcommit to kill it, and then it can very easily set me up for a kill one, kill more. And so obviously in this matchup, that's something I'm definitely going to try to exploit. So let's flip over to the game, and if I didn't already mention, lists are going to be linked down in the description, so if you want to check those out via Payspin, go and check out those as well. Shameless plug to the people that provided this beautiful mat, Game Mat EU, and if you're looking at trying to check out this terrain set, it is fantastic. It is fully modular, and it is going to be perfectly set up for the new chapter approved mission set as well, because the terrain footprints really didn't change. So the terrain is provided by Big Bear 3D and 8 Games. So big shout out to them and helping out this channel to give you guys a nice clean setup to learn from as well. So very much appreciated. So going into the game, Let's get this started. So first turn, it's going to Max, all right? And he rips Assassination and Sabotage. He is going to cycle Assassination for Engage on all fronts. Now, if you didn't already know, Aeldari is fast, and so the boy, he's going to get Engage on all fronts early, especially because he's got these Striking Scorpions right here, playing aggressive out the gate, and he's going to try to do some move block killing shenanigans turn 1. So he's got Sabotage and Engage on all fronts to work with, and we are going to fast forward here. If you are a avid watcher of the channel, you know how we do it here. So we are going to fast forward, and more or less you're going to see the game state at the end of his turn. So he's going to move this unit up here to Sabotage turn 1. He's going to create this beautiful move block here and try to kill a Hex Mark to essentially prevent me from shifting out resources as much as I would love to try to interact with this unit here to deny his Sabotage, which I thought was really good. And then he is going to shift over his Wind Rider bikes over here to essentially get his Engage on all fronts, which I don't necessarily know if that was like the best play or not, but you know, he had a little liquid courage. Okay, he had a little liquid courage going through his veins. And he's like, yo, we ball. Let's give me that 4 points on Engage on all fronts. I was like, dude, let's do it. So he's going to get a 4, as you can see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he is also going to get a kill, which is the Hexmark, I believe, that he killed the first round, which was good. So going into my turn, looking at this board state, we are going to get Overwhelming Force and Secure No Man's Land. So Overwhelming Force, unfortunately, is a dud. We do get Secure No Man's Land, but I didn't necessarily want to overextend early. So I was like, all right, we're just going to get the 2 points on extend. I'm going to really utilize these flayed ones to make sure that I kill this unit here and call it a day. Now, the big thing with Aeldari that you have to worry about is, of course, the battle tokens. So the main ones to be aware of is they have a react move within 9. Also, they have, I can't remember if it's like a specific detachment or if it's just a battle token. It's hard to keep track of all the things that Aeldari can do. But the main ones is they have the react move. They have the no Overwatch shenanigans. So, but the main one in the movement phase, you're just trying to think about the react moves. Okay, so when I'm looking at this Wind Rider host unit, essentially, we're looking at this bubble of places that he can go, which looks more or less something like this. So I know if I move these flayed ones up in here, we talk about this on the channel all the time, as you're kind of creating this insurance policy. And this doesn't go for Necrons, just goes for Warhammer in general, where when you're shooting at a unit, any good player is going to either remove models closest to that unit or they're going to try to get out of the way. So there's 2 things that I need to worry about. Mainly the first one is if the react moves, where is he going to go? So if I put these flayed ones as far up against the wall as possible, it's still going to put them in a really good charge range. And I know the biggest thing with flayed ones, what you're trying to line up is you're trying to get that unit below half strength and then get a charge off to really maximize their ability, because every successful hit counts as a critical when you're below half, and they have sustained. So on average, they're getting like 35 or 40 hits through it, something ridiculous, twin links, so they can really do some damage early, which is always nice to see. So we're going to fast forward here, and you're going to see more or less my turn play out. And you're going to see here that we actually side shift this DDA over to get wholly within the footprint. And because the DDA is over 4 inches tall or 5 inches tall for first floor line of sight blocking, it can see over the second floor. So then at that point, you're drawing true line of sight to the Wind Rider unit right here, if you're wondering how that DDA is able to see. So we're essentially going to move over the DDA. I'm running +1 to hit on the hex mark, so it gives the DDA, he is hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s, and then rerolling 1s to hit and wound because he's next to the king. Extremely nice combo in Awakened Dynasty. And then your standard procedure here, we have the race shifting up, getting some OC on the point early, saying like, hey, what do you want to do about it? And also getting our Secure No Man's Land. So essentially the play pattern here is we are going to fire the DDA, do some chip damage to the Wind Riders, and then we're going to charge in with the flayed ones and hopefully pick up the rest of the unit. Because in his army, I'm essentially trying to take out the main threats early, which is this unit and this unit, because they have dev wounds on a 4-up, and they can really provide some big problems for the DDA and the Silent King. So I know if I can get these units out of the way early by turn 2 or turn 3, it really allows me to play some of these other units much more aggressively towards the mid game and really establish strong board control and hopefully take the game from there. So we're going to get baby secure. We're going to more or less, as you're going to see here, sequence out, flayed ones charge in, and I think they clean up the rest of that unit. So it played out, luckily, exactly as we had hoped. So going into Max's turn 2, he is going to get a hold 1, and he's going to get 1 kill for the turn, which is going to give him 8 points, and he's going to get Secure No Man's Land and Defend Stronghold. So he is kind of in the same predicament where he doesn't really want to put another unit on this objective, but he's going to very easily be able to hold this objective, which is fine. So he'll get Baby Secure, and then he's going to get Defend Stronghold. There's no way I'm going to be able to interact with that going into the top of turn 2. So seeing how this turn played out, he's going to move one of his boats up here. He's going to get the guys out. I did mention to him that, hey, I do have a hex mark conveniently placed right here. So if you do want to come out, he is going to overwatch you. And I believe if I fast forward on the pictures here, that kind of changed his sequencing of what he wanted to do. Or maybe it didn't. Maybe it didn't. So this game was a little bit ago, so maybe he did take the Overwatch and I just whiffed, which is entirely possible as well. So essentially, the board state looks like here. He's got the troops coming out. So the unit here and the unit here, and they're obviously looking to clean up the flayed ones and potentially clean up a Scorpec Lord, or maybe he just doesn't get those. He doesn't get those guys out. And then we rapid ingress a DDA, our second DDA right here. So it gives me the flexibility to give potentially both DDAs +1 to hit with this hex mark because of his 6-inch +1 to hit aura, and then also the Silent King aura. So we're getting really good synergy with our aura abilities there as far as positioning, which is nice. So fast forwarding here. That is essentially the turn. So he uses the CP to get the guys back in the transport because Aeldari, I like that, and passes the turn over to me. So looking at the board state, more or less what I'm looking to do is I think I have enough output this turn because this list, we're not running the Warriors currently right now. I'm going more into a Wraith build. We have a lot more downrange anti-tank shooting where I think I have enough volume where I can really do some damage to this unit here. And we're looking to exploit this firing lane right here. So you can see here that these pieces are very conveniently placed where I can swing the king over in his Menhirs to essentially fire out this way. DDA can shift over, get in this lane, or I can swing this DDA and go here or over here. So I have a lot of flexibility this turn in terms of what I want to kill. We're probably going to be shifting up the Scorpec Lord and staging them up similar to the flayed ones where we pop the transports with the anti-tank, then the Scorpec Lords charge in and then clean up the contents inside. That's why I'm really liking Awakened right now, especially going into this new mission pack and this new meta, mainly because they are a very good multi-phase army right now. They have a very good balance in terms of good shooting threats and good melee threats to be able to pull some of these moves off, okay? So going into the turn, this is going to be bottom of 2. We are going to get a hold 1, and then we're going to get a kill and kill more for 12 points on primary this turn. And I'm simply going to fast forward here so you can see how this plays out. So we essentially move this DDA, so it's just towing out of the objective and being able to draw a line of sight here. The king is moving his Menhirs so he can fire either here or over here. So it gives me multiple options. This is something that we talk about in our mastering videos and in the coaching calls, is like how to position units where it gives you multiple options depending on if things go bad. That's always something that you're trying to look out for, because sometimes, like, you know, a DDA, D6 shots, it could, like, you know, freaking, like, I've had times it one shots Magnus. Sorry if you're watching this, Bryce. And then sometimes it can barely kill 5 cultists. So sometimes you just don't know what you're going to get out of these things. So you got to plan ahead. So that's more or less what the shooting is looking like. And then we have a hex mark for extra chip damage. And then you see these Scorpec Lords are stationed behind the walls. So after these resources are chipped down, I can send in the Scorpec Lords and then do some work on the contents inside. So we're going to fast forward here. You're going to see how that plays out. And we are essentially providing max pressure early. This is the bottom of turn 2. And he has lost quite a bit of resources, unfortunately, for Max. We hate to see it. And we essentially got rid of most his main damage dealers as far as on the Dev Wound bikes with the Wind Riders. So now I know that these DDAs and the King can play a lot more aggressively, because really outside of the Fire Dragons, he doesn't have much that can really interact with these units now. And the Wraiths are in a really strong board position where I can shift stuff up where now they essentially can move 10 inches over this way and actually threaten his home. There's a lot of different plays that the Wraiths can do now on their board position. And we just have a Scorpec Lord. He just advanced right here. And this is an interesting pocket to point out on layout 1 where, when you're behind this wall, it essentially forces units to have to swing pretty far forward in order to interact with this Scorpec Lord. I mean, even drawing, you can see this placement here is very intentional, where we're trying to tuck him away where he can't draw a line here. Very intentionally placed. So it's kind of an interesting pocket on layout 1 where your opponent, in a weird way, even though it looks like he's in the open, he's almost not. Where your opponent really does have to shift some stuff forward quite a bit in order to interact with him. So, but then at the same time, we talk about like threat bubbles and threat projection. He's projecting, like, you have to do something about him this next turn, otherwise he's gonna do some bad things. So going into, and then our secondaries for the turn were engaging all fronts and defend. So we held 2 table quarters, which was, or 3 table quarters, excuse me, which was right here with the Scorpec, Reanimator, and the King. And then defend, yeah, I mean, if I zoom in here, I don't know, man. What do you guys think? You guys think if you were my opponent, would you just give me defend, or like, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Defend is happening on both sides. It's just automatic. When you draw it early, free points. It's great. So going into turn 3, Max, he's getting another hold. He's getting another kill. All right. This is board state going into top of 3. He is unfortunately losing stuff fast. The Liquid Courage is kind of getting the best of him right now. But you know what? Max is a baller, and he's like, let's keep this rolling, baby. So he's getting the guys out of the transport here. He's going to draw Cleanse and Extend Battle Lines. He cycles Mark for Death. So he's already going to get Extend Battle Lines because he has this Wind Rider on that objective. So an easy 5, and then Cleansing. He's going to move this bike up here to cleanse for 1. This boat's going to go up here and cleanse for another 1. So you're going to see that play out here. And let me make sure that is it. So he, this is essentially the board state going into the top of 3. And it more or less does not work out too well for him, mainly because Scorpec Lords, man, if you didn't already know, at 80 points, they are a steal. It is criminal how good they are at 80 points. I hope GW isn't watching these videos because, if they stayed at 80 points in this upcoming data slate, that would be great. Okay, that would be great. All right. So going into the turn, we're going to see how this plays out here before I move. Obviously, I snapped a Wraith off my base. Classic. And that's basically what happened in turn 3. All right. So going to my turn again, we're going to get a kill more, and then hold 1, but we don't hold more. And going into my turn, we are mainly looking at now, same kind of thing, is we're looking to eliminate this resource, this resource, this resource, and this resource realistically right here. Okay. So we are also going to get established locus and no prisoners. And because the backfield is more or less open over here, that opens up the door for us to drop. I believe I had an extra locus in reserve because it's turn 3. So I think we drop that back here, as you can see. So we're going to get 4 points on locus. Because of what we talked about earlier, now it opens up the door for my DDAs to play a little bit more aggressively. A lot of people forget Doomsday Arcs are OC5. They're OC5. And they're so durable. So, if you kill the threats early, opens up the door to play them a little bit more aggressively and using them as like denial pieces because they're great for that. They move 10. And just denying this primary here and just holding this point down, and also getting me a line on both of these targets here. And more or less now what we're looking to do is shift up the race just a little bit, be more annoying, and you're going to see this play out here where the Scorpec shift up, and we essentially eliminated all of our targets. So this is the end or bottom of 3. It is looking a little rough for the Aeldari right now because we do have a unit of fire dragons. We do have the character, and we have one more wave serpent right here. I know this is not called a wave serpent, but I cannot remember what this thing is called off the top of my head. So Going into the turn, it's looking a little interesting, mainly because the race definitely are going to be able to interact with this objective or his home objectives next turn, and he just doesn't really have many resources left. But he does get a 4 on primary, and then he draws containment, which unfortunately he can't do. Cull the Horde, which again, these are pariah rules, so the race, which he was not going to be able to kill, and he gets area denial. So all of those are not good. So unfortunately, he just could not score any of those. And if we fast forward here, but Dax Baller is like, yo, let me see what I can do. Okay, let me cook. All right. So that was essentially the turn here. Not really much. I mean, it's just not really much left, you know. So going into my turn, we will get kill 1, kill more, hold 1, hold more for the next 2 rounds. Mainly because at this point it was like it was table, because you know this DDA goes here, fires here. You know, the race fly over the fire dragons and do the mortals and then land on his home. And that was pretty much the game. So then going into turn 5, he's not able to score because there's nothing left. And then that turn we had the 16, and then we would have ended up getting, I think, area denial and sabotage on the last turn in squad. So we ended up 96-55 to the Necrons. I told Max, man, don't read into it too much. We both know he actually plays Necrons as well. I need to get Max back on the Necron bandwagon. I don't know what I need to tell him to get him back on. I mean, like, Aeldari's great and all, but I miss having like another Cron player on the team, because then we'd have 3 Necron team. But yeah, it's just a tough matchup for Aeldari. The combination of some liquid courage and this not being a good matchup, I told him, I was like, dude, don't read into it too much. He's got a super fun list. He knows it well. He's been playing it a while. But overall, fantastic game. Hope you guys got some good insight out of it. And if you stuck around this long, as always, appreciate you. We'll catch you in the next one.